The Summer League is a very interesting level of basketball as it represents opportunity for so many players in different situations. The main attraction of the league is to see the newest class of rookies get their first taste of NBA level action, but there are also plenty of players that are fringe NBA guys fighting for a spot on the roster, G-Leaguers trying to turn heads, younger players trying to continue to develop, and even a few journeymen trying to hold on to hope of keeping their careers going. There's a lot to watch for throughout the event, and with the championship having been played yesterday and the league coming to a close, for today's video, we'll be going over the biggest winners and losers of the event. Now, normally for lists like this, there are an even amount of winners and losers, but this year's Summer League was so positive for so many different teams that I honestly struggled to find that many losers to discuss in this video, so there are more winners than losers that we'll discuss today. Before we start though, it turns out about 60% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. We'll start with the winners column here, and the first winner from Summer League we'll be discussing is the Houston Rockets. It's one thing to kill it in a draft on paper, where every selection a team makes seems solid in theory, but it's an entirely different thing to see those players that were selected ball out afterward. Jalen Green was the second pick, and he looked phenomenal in Summer League, showing off everything in his bag as a scorer, and most importantly, producing at an impressively efficient rate. He scored over 20 points per game and shot over 50% from the field and from three, which may not be realistic to expect from him in a larger sample size, but it's a very good sign nonetheless. Then, regarding their other picks, it's impossible to ignore how impressive Alperen Sengun looked, as well as his highly advanced moveset in the post and his touch around the basket. Plus, the Rockets' haul doesn't even stop there, as they also brought in Josh Christopher and Usman Garuba, who both showed flashes as well. I genuinely don't think the Rockets missed on a single pick in this year's draft, and with the amount of selections they made, it makes it that much more impressive for a team in rebuild mode with their sights set on the future. The next one up in this list of winners is the Sacramento Kings, and for more reasons than one. The first and most obvious reason is that they won the Summer League championship, so in the most literal sense, they are winners of the Summer League. But even in the context of this video, they silenced a lot of people that were skeptical about what they did in the draft. The Kings had the 9th pick in this year's draft, and with it they selected Davion Mitchell. Mitchell is a bit older than other lottery selections, which in the minds of quote-unquote draft experts tends to be a big no-no, so the pick obviously got a bit of backlash. Plus, the Kings have some competition in their backcourt already, which added to that. However, I personally was very high on this selection for them for several reasons, and honestly I'm struggling to hold in my "I told you so" after the way that he played, and I think will translate to the NBA level based on how he looked in Summer League. The Kings desperately needed defensive improvement, and Mitchell is the best perimeter defender in the draft. In Summer League, he was hounding his opponents and making life a living hell for them, and that defense will absolutely earn him an immediate role in the team's rotation once the NBA season starts. Plus, his shot looked very good, and if he can space the floor and play the role of a secondary creator, he'll be a valuable piece for them for a long time. The next one up in the winner column is the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks weren't exactly grabbing headlines when the draft went down, but once their pick stepped onto the court in Summer League, it became apparent they may have gotten two of the biggest steals in the whole draft. Jalen Johnson was viewed as lottery talent for most of the season, but a rocky conclusion to his year at Duke, followed by a rise in other prospects, saw him fall out of the lottery for the Hawks to scoop up. Johnson had a pretty productive Summer League campaign, putting up about 19 points and 10 rebounds per game. He showed off the brilliant court vision he's demonstrated throughout, he brings versatility both offensively and defensively, and for a Hawks team still trending upward, he's a strong addition to their team. Then we get to their gem bottom of the second round, where the Hawks drafted Sharife Cooper, which I thought was insane value, because he should have easily been first-round talent, and his elite passing ability, overall playmaking, and ability to create for those around him backed that up completely in Summer League. He's flashy in the best way possible, and in the minutes that Trae Young is off the court, Cooper has a chance to earn real minutes as a backup point guard during this season. And finally, to close out the winners column, the last one we'll be discussing is an individual player, being LiAngelo Ball. Ball has been viewed as nothing more than a joke for years now, ever since his departure from UCLA, but after fighting long and hard just to get a chance to show everyone what he's capable of doing, he took this Summer League tryout and made the absolute most of it, which you can't do anything but give props to him for. If there's one thing Jello can bring to an NBA level, it's his ability to confidently knock down shots from deep range, and his three-point shooting was definitely on full display in this tournament. However, his shooting is what we've already known was a strength of his, but what surprised many was the fact that he actually held his own defensively and made a few really impressive stops. There's still no guarantee that he'll be on an NBA roster, but at the very least, the Hornets coaching staff has been somewhat vocal about how impressed with him they are, and the door is more open for him now than it's ever been. Now we can move on to the losers column, and first we'll be discussing the Oklahoma City Thunder. As I said in the intro of this video, it was really tough to find actual losers to put into this group, so this one is a bit of a nitpick, but there is reasoning behind it. The Thunder surprised a lot of people when they selected Josh Giddey 6th overall in the draft, as many thought it was a bit of a reach. It's not that Giddey's viewed as a potential bust necessarily, but based on the talent level of this year's draft, many thought there were better value picks at that spot, so when Summer League rolled around, we were at least hoping to see Giddey ball out and try to prove those people wrong. Unfortunately though, Giddey's Summer League stint only lasted 5 minutes before he suffered an injury, so we didn't really get to see much from him at all. The reason why they're in the losers column isn't at all because Giddey played poorly, it's simply because of the circumstance. And finally, the last one in the loser column for today's video is Cole Anthony of the Orlando Magic. The Magic as a team aren't the focus because there was a lot of positive from their Summer League squad, including 5th pick Jalen Suggs, but Cole Anthony individually was their first round pick last season and was expected to have a big role on this rebuilding team. But now with a crowded front court adding Suggs and already having Markelle Fultz, makes the outlook for Anthony even tougher. Someone was going to be the odd man out in this point guard rotation, and Anthony's performance in Summer League was rough to say the least. He only managed to put up about 7.5 points per game, he shot terribly at 29% from the field and 30% from 3, and despite having the talent and skill set that should thrive in theory, he has yet to put it all together in actuality yet. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below who you think are the biggest winners and losers of this event. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.